Hey there, it's Kimberly here with Knit for Brains, and I got another book, and I'm excited about this one, How to Start Knitting. Now, even though I'm a knitter, I'm sure there's going to be some things in here that I'm going to be really interested to learn about. So stay tuned, let's take a look inside. My friends over at Search Press sent me some books recently and said, take a look at these and see what you think. And this one came out in 2025, August of last year. So not that long ago, but it's been out a little while. You might have heard of it, Brenda Lam, and it's all the tips and tricks and techniques that new knitters need to know. There's a lot of us, especially that follow this channel, that are crocheters, but maybe you're like, I don't know how to make the transition over to knitting. So let's take a look inside here and see what tips we can find out. All right, so Search Press sent this over to me, and I knit and I crochet, and I'm self-taught. So a book like this is going to be really helpful for me because being that I'm self-taught, I'm sure there's a lot of things I do that are sloppy that I could do better, and I just want to learn to really hone in on the techniques. So this is by Brenda Lam, How to Start Knitting, all the tips and tricks and techniques that new knitters need to know. Fun. All right, so this is maybe there's going to be patterns in here, I'm not really sure. So Brenda is a caffeinated homebody born and raised in Ontario, Ottawa. All right. So this book, it says, is learning to knit. In the first chapter, we'll go over essentials. And so chapter 3 is that they crack the code on reading knitting patterns. So basically, it's going to take you from one to the other. Ooh, cute pattern I'll start with. Love using big needles because it's a very gratifying project when you're using big fat yarns and big fat needles. Okay, so here we talk about the different yarns, and she talks about the different kinds of fibers and the yarn weights. A lot of this we might already know because we're crocheters, but this is a great reference so far. And it feels, so far just in what I'm reading, very user-friendly and like down to earth, not too highbrow. So here we've got all the different yarn weights. Do you know, even now, when I'm looking at yarns and I'm like, is this a DK? I still sometimes have to Google it and remember what a DK weight number is. Knitting needles and types. So we got your straights, your double pointed, and your circulars. And then I love circular needles. Once I start working with them, even if I'm just doing a straight knit, I still tend to reach for my circular needles. Techniques and stitches. She's using a big old fat yarn. We love that about her. I love that about you, Brenda. Holding your needles. That's a good one. So it says, if you're holding the left needle, that's your stabilizer, and the right working needle is the creator. That's an interesting way to look at it. I've never really thought of it that way. Creating a loop, and this is taking you way back to the beginnings. Pulling yarn through the loop, casting on, the long tail cast on. Okay, great. This is actually a really great tool to learn. It took me a while to figure it out, but now it's so easy, and it's kind of my go-to cast on. It's a really nice cast on to know about. The knit cast on, I've done that one too. And then holding your yarn. So you're either a picker or a thrower is what I was always told. She calls this flicking motion or a flicker. So you've got the English style, and then you've got the continental. I think I am a English style. I don't believe I'm a continental. Yeah, I don't do the picking. I do the flicking, or as I would say, throwing. And you know what? No style is right or wrong. It's just what is comfortable to you. English knitting is often a newbie's first choice because it's easier to control your tension. That I have found the case. When I have done continental, because I do try to change it up and train myself to do continental, I find that my tension is a little bit off. So I don't mix the two styles in a pattern. I'm either doing knitting English style or continental style. But continental is great if you're doing color work because it's really great to have the two colors going in two different fingers so they don't get too twisted. All right, so how do stitches sit? That's always good. Knit and purl. The knit stitch. Oh, okay. This is helpful. I haven't seen this before. So the knit stitch, it shows you how to do it English style and how to do a continental style. So depending on which, if you're a picker or a thrower, that would depend on which way that you like to do it. And again, here we've got the English and the Continental. All right, so a takeaway from this book so far is I love that she's breaking it up that way. I've never seen that before in the books, at least that I have. I haven't seen that. Knitting through the back loop, slip stitching pro-wise. This is definitely a reference book. And I think this is going to move to the front of my bookshelf because these are really helpful. And it's nice that it's just a one-shot. Like you can just go and say, hey, I need to learn more about, knitting and purling and knitting one and purling below and that kind of a thing. And you just flip to that page. You don't have to read this from front to cover. Increases, there's going to be decreases. A left-leaning increase. I just did that. And I didn't understand it at first when I was doing it. But when you see it lay out, you see how it makes a really nice kind of a seam. And then I understood the importance of knowing that stitch. Purling's 2 stitches together, joining new yarn colors, changing colors. Wow. A flat knitting versus circular knitting. Okay. So that's using the flat needles versus the circular. But again, you can do flat paneled things like scarves and sweaters and whatever using circular needles. It typically just gives you more space on your needle because of the cable for stitches. So I find that I lose stitches. They're safer on my circular needles than they are on my straights. And sometimes you do have to switch needle size. Stitch patterns. Okay, so here we got the garter stitch, which is basically knit and purl back and forth. Stocking net, which is knitting one way and then you purling back the other. So this one here, you just knit back and forth, and that gives you this interesting look here. Stocking net, you knit forward and you purl the other direction. Here's the 1x1 ribbing. That one always got me because it took me the longest time to get nice, clean ribbing stitches 1x1. I would end up doing some of them seed. It just looked like this. I actually end up I love the seed stitch. I do love that. I've not tried the fisherman's rib. That would be something to try. A moss stitch. So what she's saying is it's reversible, meaning it's going to look the same on both sides. This one here, so this is going to be the right side and the wrong side. This is reversible, meaning it's going to look the same on both sides. The seed stitch is reversible, and the 1x1 rib is also going to be reversible, which makes sense. The moss stitch is reversible. The bubble stitch isn't reversible in that you're going to definitely see the back side. And the diagonal chevron zigzag is also reversible. I'm loving this book. Binding and casting off, the basic bind off, a 3 needle bind off. That's interesting. Picking up stitches. Right side versus wrong side. This is a really very user-friendly book. Yeah, I'm going to be pulling this in quite a bit. Mattress stitching, I love that. That's my number one. That's my go-to for seaming stitches together. Finishing, weaving in the ends. Yes, that is super important. Wet blocking. So there's basically wet, steam, and spray blocking. Depending on the fabric, you want to really understand how that fabric is going to work when it's being steamed. There's some things you definitely do not want to wet block or steam. So it tells you here, wet blocking is good for wool, alpaca, linen, and merino. Steam blocking is good for cotton, polyester, and wool. And spray blocking is good for cashmere, merino, mohair, alpaca, silk, bamboo, wool, linen, and most blends of acrylic. Okay. So here we talk about tension and all your different abbreviations for knitting. Wow. Sizing information, knitting instructions, troubleshooting, common issues and quick fixes. This happens, that's definitely where you've dropped a stitch. Oh, kills me. That's when a crochet hook comes in handy using when you're knitting, is picking up those stitches. Undoing your work. Yeah. Frogging. So that's good. Using a lifeline. I just started doing that. You'd think I would learn, but using a lifeline, running that yarn through all the way down to the stitch that you want to come down to. So basically you don't have to worry about losing anything more than what you want to lose or get rid of. And then just have that lifeline that goes all the way through. Oh, oh cool. And then we've got some projects. Excellent. Okay, so my first beanie, bubble burst scarf. Wow. Go-to jumper, obsessed vest. Oh, I love this. I love this. And again, she's using bigger yarns, which is going to be very manageable for the new knitter. It's not going to be too challenging. We're not going to be using a fingering weight. It's going to go fast, and there's going to be that nice immediate gratification. Bubble burst scarf, U-zig, I-zag blanket. I haven't tried the bubble. This, I'm definitely loving this book. Color Me cushion. Marshmallow infinity scarf. Good in the Hood balaclava. This is adorable. That's a little bit of the brioche knitting, it kind of looks like. Balaclavas. Earn Your Stripes cardigan. Adorable. And see, that's again, using those really big yarns. Super fun, easy and fast to work through, and yet very cute, very trendy. Very much on trend right now. The I Am Obsessed vest. That's adorable. What yarn is she using here? Big old fat stuff. Ah, here we go. Andes. Oh, Fluff of the Andes by Knit Picks. Okay. I might have some of that in my... What did she use here on this one? Cool Wool by Beta Knit. It's 100% wool. Okay. Fluff of the Andes. Huh. Okay. 2 balls. That's it, and you're done. Love it. Adorable. With jeans. Okay. Look at that. It is so doable. My go-to jumper. Crazy Sexy Wool by Wool and the Gang. They do make a lot of big bulky yarns. Love it. One Knit Wonder Mittens. This would be a scrap yarn. She uses skinny Andrian wool. But again, you could use leftover scraps. Or she uses leftover scraps from the other projects. I like these little psst, so there's helpful hacks. Knit through the back loop. Or psst, these are your thumb gussets. Also using double pointed. These are just little extra tips. And then a glossary. Okay. Big fan. Sold on this one. How to Start Knitting by Brenda Lam. This book is awesome. I am loving this. I was going to see if I could do a giveaway, but I don't want to give away this copy. So stay tuned on that one. Maybe I'll be doing a giveaway. If I do, it'll be on Instagram. This is a keeper. The references in this book, I love the way that it's laid out. Everything I need is right there. I don't have to go fishing through it. This is a great reference book. Thank you, Search Press. Thank you, Brenda Lam. Thanks so much for watching. This is Kimberly with Knit for Brains, and as always, I'll see you soon.